We're smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome to the locker room. It is the Friday edition. And good morning, Tega.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you were having a great week. Thank God it's the weekend. Thank God it's Friday. All right. So what is happening today? We're going to talk about father and son in the NBA. We're going to talk about the Euro 2024 round of 16 draws. We're also going to touch a little bit on Wimbledon because now it's confirmed Novak Djokovic is playing, but Andy Murray is waiting for the very last moment, like just before the examiner says pens up. That's when he's going to tell us whether he's going to participate at Wimbledon. So we'll talk about that. Football, tennis, Formula One, and also the NBA, but only after Omatseye tells us how we can be a part of the locker room this morning.
To be part of the locker room this morning means you need to send messages as reactions to the sports stories of this morning inside the locker room to 0809-444-0981. That's WhatsApp messages, and that will be 0809-444-0981. And you can as well reach down to YouTube and catch a live stream. Yeah, you see us there. So just be sure to race down to youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Subscribe, leave your comments there. It's always very interactive. Sometimes Tega has a way of loading the buses somewhere when we go on the other side for very, token amounts. That's just, you can catch and do all of this stuff later on. But then you can also tweet at smooth981FM. Then, of course, that's at smooth981FM on X. That's it. So we're done, Tega.
All right, so let's take the headlines and then we'll take the stories.
On the bill this morning, Hawks take French Teen Risacher with the NBA draft first pick, as there is Wozniacki retires hurt after 4, Badosa knocked out at Bad Homburg, and then comes Science predicts more ding-dong battles with Ferrari teammate Leclerc. And then there would be, we didn't underestimate Georgia, says Portugal's coach Martinez. And then also we find England squad backs under fire, Southgate, says Gay. And then Denmark hoping for a repeat of 1992 in Germany clash, says assistant coach, as familiarity may breed contempt, but in this case, familiarity but no fear for Switzerland against Italy, as US stunned by Panama in dramatic 2-1 Copa America loss, and more.
All right, so we are really going around the world in the locker room. All right, don't forget, send your messages to YouTube. I'm here on YouTube. I'm not seeing one message. Say hi.
Let's see.
Hello.
Let's take a peep and see. They might just be there waiting already.
Say hello to Tega, eh? All right. So we're waiting for those messages. Yeah. While we're waiting for the message on YouTube, let's start with the very first story.
All right, let's pick up the pace with this one. The Atlanta Hawks selected teenage French forward Zachary Risacher with the first overall pick of the NBA draft.
All right, so people are asking, America, is the NBA really about the world? Of course, they are world champions. Everybody in the world is coming to the NBA. It's Adam Silver, I blame. You know all this sensitivity thing. People are now sensitive. They're like, if it's in America, why is it not the NBA championship? Rather. Please, if they say they're world champions, the best in the world come to the NBA. So the first 2-round draft picks are from France. It's almost as if everybody's now trying to toe the line of San Antonio Spurs when they drafted Wembanyama. But
yeah,
Wembanyama,
like that guy, yeah, remember.
Wonder kid. Oh, sorry, he's I keep saying both like he has not been. He is a wonder kid. And I mean, this guy is 6'9". Sorry, he's just 6'9". In all honesty, yeah. LeBron is 6'8". Kevin Durant is about 6'10". So he's not that tall. But I mean, he still has to grow a little bit to still a teenager. But ultimately, I would say this. It was a good draft pick. But regardless of the fact that the first 2 rounds of draft picks were from Europe, and the rest of the people were questioning about how the American system is not really bringing the superstars that they want to see because of the back-to-back European first round draft picks. The news now broke on the second day and this or on the second round of the draft picks in the NBA. The news that has taken over everybody, and that is simply that LeBron is finally going to be able to play with his son Bronny. Now you have to understand why this thing, number one, affects me personally, because I saw LeBron get drafted into the NBA, and now I'm seeing his son get drafted. How old am I, please? Am I not rich Methuselah's age as we are like this? I'm rich Methuselah's age. But the big news was that he could have been drafted to the New York Knicks as the 38th round pick.
Yeah.
And people were suggesting that, you know what, LeBron James can just leave Lakers and all the money he's supposed to get for Lakers and go to the New York Knicks. Like they have a team. If the team is healthy, that can contend for the championship. And so adding LeBron James to that mix and getting his son who would have been brilliant. So he could have been picked as a 38th round pick. But somebody had told us earlier that Rich Paul, who is like the agent of LeBron James and his friend, had a plan. And the plan was that he was going to call everybody that was planning to draft LeBron, that if you draft him, he's going to Australia. We are moving him to Australia. So because it was almost as if people wanted to draft him so that they could get LeBron. And so he said, if you draft him, we are going to Australia. However, if you leave him, then the Lakers can draft him. It's not like he's one of the best or hottest draft picks. And so he had been making those phone calls. And so every team that wanted to draft him, even the Celtics that wanted to draft as a 54 round pick, I've mentioned the New York Knicks, all of them decided they're not going to draft Bronny. And then Lakers took him as a 55th round pick. So yes, he's going to the NBA. And I will say this, if people start talking about nepotism and all of that, if you like rich, they don't carry your family member. You will see. Better take your family member. I'm not promoting nepotism. I'm just telling you, if your family member is qualified, take your family member. It's that simple.
But it's interesting to see father-son connection and even grandfather. Remember the other day, Concesao, you were talking about at some point. Now we see it's just good to see sport personalities, their children.
However, if your father is Lionel Messi and you are not any good, don't bother. Just go and be a carpenter. Look, because the pressure is more. Like, now look at LeBron's son. He's not the worst basketball draft player I have seen, but because his father is LeBron, the LeBron James, and he's an average basketballer, he now looks like a failure. He has not even played the game.
Like Tiger Woods' son, also.
Was that spectacular, and you're not close to good, just leave it. Go and become a scientist. Do something else. Anything else.
Can we go to the courts and see what it's looking like and see how they're performing? Former world number one Caroline Wozniacki had to retire from a quarterfinal match at Bad Hamburg Open on Thursday due to a knee injury while Paula Badosa, was knocked out.
All right, so this is an interesting one for the grass courts. You know, we're talking about grass courts being too short. Some people said, well, the new generation, but I don't understand. They're saying, oh, why don't you just eliminate the grass season completely? Let's just stay with hard courts and clay courts. People that don't understand tennis. But the grass court has turned up so many injuries. Like, think about it. All the big names have been pulling out of Wimbledon. They say the calendar is just too choked. And if you look at the grass courts, it doesn't have any majors beyond Wimbledon. You know, hard courts and clay courts, they have masters, some of them back to back. But grass courts, no masters whatsoever. So people are just like, you know what, we're just going to play 2 matches to prepare for Wimbledon, and we'll see how it goes from there. And it makes it a little tricky. Now, Wozniacki had to pull out with an injury. Badosa was knocked out. But prior to that, a lot of the top 10 players had already been on Chabot, had already been skipping through the middle. Like, I'm going to rest and wait for Wimbledon. So it's a tricky time. But the big news is not on the women's side. The big news is on the men's side. Yes, Novak Djokovic with his should I say meniscus injury, because that's the official report. He had a meniscus injury. He had a surgery, and the question was he going to be able to compete? And he said he would only play at Wimbledon if he's sure he can compete for the title.
Nice.
So now he's sure, he's confirmed that I'm ready to drag all these young boys, right? Call out the scruff of their neck. And so he's confirmed that he's playing at Wimbledon. So we're still waiting for Andy Murray to tell us if he's going to play at Wimbledon.
Now, still talking about the surfaces, some get more action than the others. For example, when they return to the Olympics, they will be playing on the court surface, the clay surface all over again.
Oh, yes. So there's usually a change.
Okay.
If you understand it, the bouncing of the ball and the movement for several players. But it's not like you're learning a new sport entirely, so they're fine. It's good.
All right, we see that you asked them to let us know how it is going over there. So,
Why don't I feel you?
eh,
Oh, I
I
didn't see that. I see you. Welcome.
that's the AY for Moniro on the WhatsApp platform. So finally, is gotten an apartment somewhere on our YouTube there. Let's get on to this next one where Carlos Sainz warned Ferrari fans on Thursday to expect more fireworks between him and Charles Leclerc as the tension between them in this farewell season with the team intensifies.
Okay, so I don't know if I touched on it at the last race that both of them were fighting each other and on the track, and then it extended to Leclerc saying something about Sainz in the press conference, and then to the press, and then Sainz responding. And so they had a meeting, like, look, everybody shoots their thoughts. What's really happening here? How are we going to settle it? And now Carlos Sainz is saying, you know what? I'm not going to back down. My time is faster. I'm going to stay. I'm going to fight it for the position. And if I'm slower, but I'm ahead, I'm going to fight to keep my position. Like, I'm either way, I'm not rooting for anybody.
That's what we agreed at the start of the year now.
No, they agree that they should fight. So I mean, this is not personal fighting, but you can fight on track. But here is the thing. So I understand Carlos Sainz. He doesn't yet have a seat for 2025. What a fantastic driver. Won a race this season and doesn't have a seat for 2025. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll is signing a new contract just because his father owns the constructor. So I don't know how that. I mean, that's just life. Like I said, if it reach your turn and your brother is qualified, don't sign your brother. But when you see someone like Lance Stroll getting a new contract, and he's not half the driver that Carlos Sainz is. It begs the question. So Carlos Sainz is literally auditioning for a constructor to take him. And so you're not telling him that he should come down and play teamwork. Which teamwork? Why did the team keep me if they wanted me to play teamwork? Those are the questions I'd ask. So he's just warning I don't think he's warning the fans as much as he's warning Ferrari. Because he may be doing it like he's warning, but he's telling Ferrari that as long as I'm in this car, we die here. So I understand him, throwing down the gauntlet. But we'll wait to see how this weekend starts. First practice session is tomorrow. And then the main race is on Sunday. So let's see what happens.
We quickly just throw Robert.
No, we cannot.
All right. So it's still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Stay tuned.
What is Padre saying about my mic going in and out?
Padre, can you hear me now? Being a mother comes with its own superpower.
Padre?
Yeah, Padre, let's see it.
Can you hear me now?
I cannot hear you.
Give us a sign, Padre, so we know that.
Say something. Say something. I'm giving up on you.
Padre,
is it good?
Give us a sign, a thumbs up or something, so we know how to adjust it for Tega.
All right. So when we come back, we'll take.
We've not even checked what WhatsApp is looking like for you this morning. Let's see.
He says hardly. I don't know what else to say, Padre. I don't know what to say.
You're going to the past.
Okay. So we'll come back with still unstable. Even Kule saying I don't know what to do. Winded. Okay, I'm going to stay like this.
Probably.
I'm going to okay. Ibrahim has joined. Okay, this was okay. Kule says okay, so this I'm going to stay. If I move like this, just slap me back into position. All right.
Okay, so that's good now. So
okay, so I'll stay like this when we come back.
Okay.
We'll come back with a message from the YouTube before
Okay.
It's too cold in this studio.
Really?
Oh, okay. We still have one. It is so cold.
I'm gonna skip this your locker room here first because you're already here, so it can come in later on.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
so we get enough. Yeah.
If you take any of my time, you give me back. Me, I don't even have time. I will stay here. I will not leave this. So like we call police. Nothing you can do. Any of my time like this, we call police. This is so cold. I don't know why I keep wearing shorts.
That's what we like. Okay, let's go. We're smooth 98.1 FM. We're back. It's still the locker room and Tega still here. Let's go over now to messages and see what it's looking like.
All right, so let's take first message on WhatsApp.
Yinka is here from VI. The children of the most of the stars are struggling to follow the footsteps of their parents because they have allowed the society to box them into the mold of their parents. Have a look at yourself and decide a career for yourself. It's beyond emotions. That's Yinka's
Interesting.
thought.
You can be tough. I mean, if all you've seen is football, the tendency to want to play what you're familiar with is there. However, sometimes they're not as magical as their peers. It makes it tough. All right, so let's take some stories from YouTube. Let's start with Padre Prayer. We'll see you. Thank you for your message. Canada, we see you. But let me read a few messages. I hope my mic is working now. So just to test the mic, Uchenna Wokoye's message says, can't wait for the knockout round of the Euros. Georgia taught Portugal a lesson, and I feel despite the fave tag of Portugal, Martinez seems starstruck on CR7, and he needs to use his team well. All right. So Ibuku, we hear you, and Ibrahim, we hear you. So I'm going to just stay like this, and hopefully people on YouTube can hear me clearly. All right. On that note, please remember to send your messages too.
All right, go over to youtube.com/smooth981FM, Lagos on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, and you can be like Padro Pio, and you fed that Ibrahim Kono and the rest. And then, of course, send us a WhatsApp message to 0809-444-0981 related to the sports stories this morning. Let's touch base with Martinez now. Portugal coach Roberto Martinez insisted his side had not underestimated Georgia, but admitted they were deservedly beaten as they went down 2-0 in their final Euro 2024 group game on Wednesday.
Yeah, I would say they've been getting the results because they've been effective to an extent. And I think even in their very first match, they were a bit lucky because, like I said, if the foul that Atsenuwa committed were given to him, they would have had the other time to go to the other end to score a goal. So I would say this: they have not been the most brilliant. However, when you make changes to a team, sometimes it takes a minute or two for the team to come together. However, that was not the only problem because Georgia may have taken advantage of the changes that Martinez brought in, saying that his team had qualified. Not only had they qualified, but they've already qualified top of their group. So, having won their first two matches. However, Georgia played brilliantly. They started the game very well. The first opportunity they had, they put the ball in the back of the net. And you can blame Silva. Like I said, he just got on the team. He didn't want to foul anybody in the 18-yard box. He was like, let it not be that the day I came, I gave away penalty. He still ended up giving away penalty. but the very first minute of the game, he made a mistake. Georgia took advantage of it, and Georgia were playing brilliantly. And if you watch Georgia from the start of the tournament up to that game, they were impressive. The only problem was that they were naive. So they're vulnerable in their defense. Their midfield could be well taken advantage of because they like to play expressive football and expansive football. However, they don't yet have that quality and that experience to fully carry out the game. But they've been brilliant performers at the Euros. And so to see them beat Portugal by 2-0 was impressive. And then to make it to the next round. So they scored their first goal at a major tournament. They got their first point at this same major tournament. And then they got their first win against Portugal at this tournament. Breaking barriers.
And they got something from the banks too, 10 million US dollars.
That promised them some money. Yeah, it was their former prime minister that promised them some money. He said he's going to give them about 8.4 million euros worth of gifts. So I'm liking Georgia. I'm here in this small town. Maybe I should visit.
Georgia on my mind right now.
So yeah, I'm Tega really from now on. So they get knocked out.
If these guys hear it, you might want to tell them to stop when the Euros will be over. But it sounds like a very nice name to add to it anyway. Let's go to England now. England defender Mark Gay dismissed criticism of the under fire manager Gary Southgate on Thursday, saying everyone is behind their coach.
Yeah. So and I understand absolutely why Mark Gay specifically would say that. Because Gareth Southgate did give him his first opportunity at the senior national team. And so understandable that you would say I support him because if you've been there and coaches have been looking you over and then Southgate comes up with you, then Southgate is your Lord and Savior. Is that simple?
How did you come up with that word?
No,
Yeah.
you know, maybe they're not picking me not just because of the number of people I have, but maybe they're not picking me again because of my skin color. You know, there's all these things that come into your head. So I understand him saying that, you know, the players are supporting him. And, you know, a few of the players, because, you know, misery loves company because they're not just slagging Southgate, they're also slagging the players.
Yeah.
You know, every day they're calling the players, oh, this person's not doing so well, or that person's not doing so well. So it's understandable that the team will come together in solidarity from all the criticisms.
See that.
And however, England is doing well by not just making it through to the next round, but making it through to the next round in the position that they did, and they're getting one of the most favorable draws. They're playing against Slovakia. Now, England Slovakia is an interesting one because, like I said, Slovakia is new in this tournament, and you know, and this is getting towards the business end. It's not yet the business end. The business end for me will be quarterfinals and semifinals, but this is getting towards the business end. And so to get here, it will take more than just quality on the ball. It will take experience, and I feel England has the experience to completely destroy Slovakia. I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to be a brilliant performance. I'm just saying that they will do enough to get the result. So Gareth Southgate and his players will be happy at least to get the Slovakia draw. Unlike Georgia that played brilliantly and they went to get Spain. Which kind of wickedness is that? What kind of wickedness is that?
Anyway, let's see if these guys would do enough. But the Denmark is the case we're looking at now. Denmark will look to invoke the memory of their famous victory over Germany in the Euro 1992 final when they take on the same opponents in the last 16 of this year's tournament. Assistant coach Christian Poulsen said on Thursday.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember it and just hold on to it because that will be the only time you remember that day. Because even the Germans are not going to let you beat them again. And so it's almost about the same story. So in 1992, Germany were the favorites as usual. They were world champions at the time. And so it was brilliant. You know, they got into the Euros, they were the side to beat because they've been delivering the results. Denmark on the other side have been working on their last legs just to get there. And then both teams face each other and Denmark win. So it was actually a miraculous win in 1992.
Wow.
And so they're expecting those kind of miracles again because of the build up towards this particular round of 16 fixture. Denmark drew all the way. Germany won 2 matches and drew the last one against Switzerland. Germany playing brilliantly. Germany scoring lots of goals. So it's almost the same backstory, except that it's a different round. It's almost the same backstory as 1992. So he's trying to channel his inner, let's not call it demons, but his inner inspiration to get the team to do that. But I doubt that, especially because Germany have been struggling in the past few years. Coming into this one, they don't want to make any mistakes. So I think they're not going to, number one, they're not going to take Denmark for granted, especially after what Switzerland did to them in the final game of the group stage. And Nagelsmann wants to prove a case, so he's not going to take his team for granted. So all in all, that miracle of 1992, maybe the only miracle we have to hold on to. So hold on tight, Denmark, hold on tight.
It might be far easier maybe to turn water to beer in Germany on that day then. But anyway, let's see how it goes here. Familiar opponents, Italy and Switzerland, are in for it as they meet in the Euro 2024 last 16 in Berlin on Saturday. And while familiarity hasn't bred contempt, There is also no fear from the Swiss in facing a country many of their players still call home.
Switzerland, that is down this uniform. Keep our money and stay neutral. That's all we expect from you. And yeah, give us some good chocolates at the end of the day. They are the ones that have all the pressure on them. They are defending champions. They are five-time world champions. They are the people with all the pressure, and they are the team that's also not delivering and haven't lived up to expectations ever since they won the last one. So, yeah, Switzerland, go out and face. Nobody expects anything from you anyway, so you might as well play the best football you know how to play. Unfortunately for Switzerland, they'd already shown their hand a little bit by playing that way, the way they played against Germany in their final game, group stage game. So Italy will also be a little worried. And then you know how Italy is. Italy will play rubbish from morning to night. Rubbish. So then in the 90 something minute, 3 minutes to the end of the match, CSA will now forget not to kick the ball out. Then they'll not carry the ball and go and score goal. That's what Italy knows how to do. Very wicked. So ultimately, they don't even have to be brilliant. You just know that somehow, because you're playing against Italy, they can be like the weapon fashioned against you, and they will frustrate you, and then they will take advantage of the one opportunity that they have. So Switzerland can go and play without no fear, and there are no expectations made of them, but they should prepare for a hard break. Or they can play brilliantly and give their best performance, and Italy give their worst performance, and Italy will still go through.
All right, that looks like a good place to bring in the U.S. now. The U.S. men's national team's journey in the 2024 Copa America has taken a dramatic turn and damaging turn. That's what we see.
George Weston got sent off for a ridiculous foul. But even when they were one man down, Folari was able to equalize with them. See how Nigerians are just spreading their significance. They're just showing their hand, leaving DNA all over the world.
Obeying the command, go ye and multiply. Oh, okay. I don't like, let's respond.
Ultimately, they were with one man down. Panama was just able to dominate them completely in the second half, and then Panama got the goal. By the time Panama got the red card, their own red card to make it to balance the numbers on the pitch. The match was over. So the red card was really of no consequence. So tough day for the US. They looked like they were going on. I mean, you have to remember that this is being held at in their home, and they were using this to prep for the World Cup. So you can imagine that they were enjoying themselves and excited about this match, and then ultimately it was into final. So not fun. All right, let's round up with this science message.
Tayo says here, well, it goes on. Georgia didn't let me warm my soup before Cavra scored, and then he talks about Gay should continue until England gets knocked out. Their potential performance against Slovakia would flatter to deceive again. I hope the Euros in general can revive our passion in football. God should help Lukaku because it is high spiritual. The UN's men's national team isn't dramatic, just traumatic. They have ego and shame playing football. Now, let's go over to YouTube. That's where we'll sum it up now. Let's see.
Particular says, to be fair to Martinez, they were already top anyway, so they could afford to take their foot off the pedal. But that's not what really happened, because they were embarrassed. Georgia was beating Portugal. Think about it with all the stars, and so especially when they brought in players from the bench like Jota, even Cristiano Ronaldo was mad. How are we losing 2-0 to these guys? Why can't we even score one goal? So it may have looked like they started off with a completely different team, trying to rest some other for the next round,
because they qualified already. There was nothing at stake.
Saw the day they came back. There was aggression, there was urgency, there was intention in the game. Georgia just didn't give. Sorry, I say Georgia. Mama Dashvili, the goalkeeper, just didn't want to give Portugal anything. That's what it was. All right, thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube to watch us. Thank you for sending us your messages on WhatsApp. And thank you for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Till I come your way again on Monday.
Aspire. Yes.